Several years ago, a mentor of mine was involved in interviewing, and actually the client was AT&T. This was right after divestiture, and AT&T had a new emphasis on understanding their clients. My mentor was part of a team that did extensive interviewing with their clients to see what it is their clients expected. Now, concurrently, this group, of which my mentor was a part, was also interviewing Procter & Gamble and Procter & Gamble's customers to understand what they expected of Procter & Gamble. They were also involved actually in Australia, working with the largest bank in Australia, doing the same sort of work. Again, trying to understand what do customers expect from their supplier. And lo and behold, you could almost take the results from each of these and mirror them. They were getting the same results from widely divergent entities in completely different industries. Now, in an era when your competitors and mine can provide high quality, low cost, and on-time delivery, service may be the biggest differentiator. We need to understand what it is our customers expect and then tune our sales and our marketing and our service to meet those needs. Let's find out what they are. So what did my mentor and his team find out when interviewing AT&T's customers, Procter & Gamble's customers, the largest bank in Australia, other manufacturing concerns? What did those customers all say that they wanted? And what does that say for us? They discovered 7 key expectations that customers have of their suppliers. So beginning with the first one, give me what I want when I need it. Now, of course, this is fundamental basis of any relationship, any business relationship, our ability to supply what someone else values when they need it. So one could be tempted to overlook this one. Isn't this obvious? But are we really giving the client what they want or what we have in inventory? Do we really understand the client's needs and wants? Do we take the time to discover them? Do we even know the right questions to ask? Do I try to sell them a house just because I'm a realtor and they ask to meet with me? What if they're empty nesters who are trying to maximize their income prior to retirement? Might leasing be a better option? Do I even take the time? So, number one, give me what I want when I need it. Number two, when we talk, act like you know me. Now, if a client doesn't feel like we know them, we'll lose some of our relationship credibility. This means we need to take the time, again, to learn their name, their story. If we're in service, as I am, we need to understand their motives for even talking with us. Call them by name. Look them in the eye. As you might guess, I fly frequently, and the flight attendants now begin with, Mr. Benson, may I give you something to drink before we take off? Thank you for flying with us. Now, this is relatively new, and of course, I know that they are trained to say that to every customer who sits in first class because they want that return business. And even though I know exactly why they're doing this, it still feels good. It doesn't matter. I'm still impressed, and I still have the feeling of being well served. So number two, with the person on the other end who's your contact, likely your buyer, when they talk, act like you know them. Number three, when there is a problem, take personal responsibility for resolving it. Now, who of us has ever, say, called your phone service provider with an issue only to be handed from one department to another over the course of an hour to maybe have your situation resolved. A pre-expectation, you might say, which we should consider, is that it shouldn't be hard for our customers to surface problems when they have them to us. So we, as their providers, need to make it easy for them. We need to be seen as problem solvers. And when it comes to us, we need to own the problem. Whoever gets this needs to stay with it when it lands on the desk or in our queue, and make sure that if we shift them to someone else, because that person actually does have the better answer, we almost act as expediters, people who see it through to resolution, and we're the ones maintaining constant contact with the client to make sure that they continue to be informed, which we'll get to a little bit more when we get to expectation number 5. So expectation number 3, when there is a problem, take personal responsibility for resolving it. Expectation number 4, don't ask me to do anything I think you should do. Now, there are things that the client should do, things that both we and the client should do, things that I should do, and this is true in any type of business relationship. In my proposals, I actually have a section called Joint Accountabilities just for this purpose, so that we lay things out very clearly. And the usual client expectations are things like, respond on time, make sure that the venue is together, and so on and so forth. But beyond some of those simple things, I take everything else as my responsibility to ensure a successful outcome from the client. Perception is reality. I assume that everything else falls on me, and within reason, if the client thinks you should do it, you should do it. So if a client can find an answer to a question by Googling, but they ask you to find it, go ahead and do it for them. Expectation number 4, don't ask me to do anything I think you should do. Expectation number 5, after I tell you what I want, keep me informed. Now, I have never had a client say to me, Rob, you communicate too much. Regular updates or check-ins are required when the contract is going to take some time to deliver. It involves something new or different from the client's perspective, or when delivering early is just as bad as delivering late. If we don't keep the client informed, they're going to assume that things are off track. They're going to get nervous. Beyond this, and if you think of this as more proactive, this is a huge benefit if you get into the habit of this, because each time you check in and give them real information about the progress or lack of progress of the work that's in the queue, it's an opportunity to build relationship and to continue to get to know them and uncover other needs that you may be able to supply. So expectation number 5, after I tell you what I want, keep me informed. Expectation number 6, protect me from myself. Now, you and I am the expert when I'm working with my client. You are the expert when you're working with your client. You're experts in what you do. As the expert, the customer expects you to make sure that they don't do anything that is not in their best interest. Now, we do have that obligation to protect the client from herself. Frequently, this actually might mean a reduced sale or contract. In other words, they purchase something that they think they need, and you as the provider go, well, they don't need all that. I can actually take care of their need without going to that. So this is a place to kind of actually take the long view. You may lose money in the short term, but you gain trust in the long term. In my business, frequently, actually, unfortunately, it is fairly frequently, I'll get a call and it's, hey Rob, let's talk about doing some team development with my group. And as we do some investigation into that, the team of which this manager is talking about doesn't have an issue. The team's fine. And oftentimes there is one person on the team that the manager is having a difficult time knowing how to talk to, confront, address, right? So does this team need to spend the time for a day, let's say, of taking their group away from the work to focus on issues that they don't have, which actually would pay me a fair amount of money? Or does that perhaps leader need just a little bit of coaching, maybe a script, something that won't Ernie probably give it away gratis, but something that will help them take care of their issue without expending unnecessary time? Protect them from themselves. This may be an opportunity to upsell. So you may find as you talk with them that what they think they're purchasing, in fact, won't give them what they need, but it's easy. They're ready to buy. Don't let them buy. Take the time to say, hey, for what you really want, you need to look at something bigger, and if that means you need to save your pennies right now, you should go ahead and do that. Number 6, protect me from myself. The last one, number 7, give me more than I expect. Now, I'm from Louisiana, and if you're from Louisiana, particularly southern Louisiana, you know the word lagniappe, Lagniappe. Lagniappe is that little bit extra, the 13th egg in a dozen. If you bought a dozen eggs or the piece of candy you could grab out of the barrel. We are delighted. So that was a custom. But truthfully, when you get something that's extra, of real value, not happy trash, but real value, you're surprised, you're delighted. So, in order for us to do that well, we need to take the time to learn not only to take their order, but to learn their goals and their needs. What are they hoping to address? What's the real need that they're hoping to address by purchasing whatever they're purchasing from you? Because when you understand this, particularly in a B2B relationship, and you start understanding what they're trying to accomplish, what their goals are, then you can think ahead of what you can provide that could be of real value to them. My financial advisor, for example, brought me in. He knows that I'm new to the area and wants to establish relationships with local leaders. What did he do? He said, hey Rob, come join my group. And oh, by the way, would you like to talk to my group? Come on and do it, and that'll give you an opportunity. He knew what I wanted to accomplish, gave me a window that was extra, that was unexpected. Now, am I more or less tied to Brad, my financial advisor? I'm more tied to him. You have that opportunity to cement that relationship as well by the extra, by the lagniappe you can provide on the back end. Now, when Brad did that, did he make any money? At least no, not in the short term. And in fact, if you look at the last 2 expectations, protect me from myself and give me more than I expect, actually in the short term, you will lose money. More than likely, most of the time, it's you giving away what you could keep for yourself. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a good thing. Because if you haven't gotten it yet, your real asset with your customer is trust. And that's what they give us when we show that we're really interested in knowing them and in meeting their expectations. So there's 7 of them here. The invitation is get serious about these. These should be baked into your marketing. That is, hey, we offer these customers, right? And find ways to communicate all 7 of those as part of your marketing efforts. These should be baked into your sales efforts so that you're truly understanding what their needs are. You're understanding what you need to protect them from, what lagniappe would really be. So these need to be baked in there as well. And finally, these do need to characterize the actual service that you give. So do these. Identify practical steps. Sit down with your sales team. Use these as a list. Walk through them and simply ask yourselves, where do we do this? And where are we missing the boat? And how do we put more of this together so that we're truly meeting what our customers actually expect? Do this and watch it build over time to your bottom line.